What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol ABNB for Airbnb, the on-the-go hotel, basically. On the left-hand side, we're looking at the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. I do need to point out that we did get an earnings announcement out of these guys after the bell, so let's flip on our extended hours session and see what was done. So it looks like a bit of damage here to the ABNB chart, certainly going to be opening on what looks to be a gap down. Remember, a lot can happen between now and 9:30, but for now, let's say for round numbers sake, we're opening here around 143.70, and the pre-market and or post-market low is going to be in and around that 142.50 mark. Let's turn that back off and talk about our scenarios as we always do with gaps. We'll focus in on the daily time frame first, just to sort of walk through this. Let's first point out the gap close area. That's at the low of today, 146.57, and this is how I would go about playing this into tomorrow. If we open here and fail to take out that overnight low, we're looking for longs back up through the open. Let's call it 143.70 for now to target the gap fill close. That would be at 146.57. You could do this with shares or with call options. The other scenario is that we get a gap and go, meaning that we do not reverse off the open. The inventory imbalance does not correct, and people really do want to sell this short probably to our next daily target. So if we open here and do something like this, any consolidation in this area should be construed as bearish acceptance, and you're looking for a breakdown underneath the pre/post market low, which for now we'll call 142.50. In that case, what are our next major targets here from the daily perspective? If I just scrunch this up a bit so we can get a little bit better idea where we're at, I would argue this should be on your radar here at 137.31, simply because we had prior resistance, then flipped to support in these candle wicks here. After that, it's kind of, quite a ways to go for Airbnb, down to about 130.50, and at that area we had a prior double bottom. So please be careful. If prices do get down there, I would imagine we at least flush and come into the low that this thing has ever traded at 121.50. So not the greatest if we get a bit of a gap and go with some serious follow through, but I don't really anticipate that, to be fully honest with you. I do sort of anticipate more of either a sideways move and or the gap fill to the upside there at 146.57, simply because of the amount of interest that we've seen here. If you just look at this with the increase in volume down below and then compare that, right? So compare that volume that we see here to this sort of dry spell, right, that we saw in here. So I do think that people are, have an interest in Airbnb. That's more of an opinion piece here, but we have some rules to play with if we do get that gap and go to the downside, as well as the gap reversal, right, back to fill it to the upside. Now, above us, what do we have as resistance points? Well, certainly here, 151.80, and then, maybe if you want to just treat this as a zone, it comes up to 154.67. Clearing that, if we look left, as we talked about, not a whole lot of volume was traded, so therefore there's not a whole lot of market structure that we can place too much emphasis into. There's some room to run up to 164 to the upside should we really get going on a breakout that takes us up and out of this sort of zone which we've just pointed out here. Because we are opening on a gap, it's very clear that we had a support trend line in play, right? If I do something like this, you can very clearly see all these lows connect, and we're sort of fumbling on the back test of it on today's session up here, but that's not really going to be in play, right, with the gap down here. So, you could put it on the chart, but it's not critical in terms of the price action that we have to deal with. So if you enjoyed today's video or learned anything new, let me know down below in the comments section or by simply giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description of the video. And all of that being said, we wish you a green trading week.